This video is made in Cairns in August of 2022. It's our solution to a 70-litre desalination, 70-litre of fresh water per hour desalination setup. So we benefit from a lot of people's advice and from some YouTube viewing, and we thought we'd make a quick one as a contribution back to the group. So I'll start by showing you the low pressure pump, which in this case is a Davy XF171S. It draws 1.8 amps per hour, and it was our solution to a low pressure pump. All of the smaller 12 volt pumps, we couldn't find any that were rated for continuous use. And being in the tropics, we needed something that could run continuously, and that was our solution to the problem. This whole setup is a 240 volt AC setup. It's run off a 3000 watt inverter. So it can, I believe, also be run off a Honda generator, 2.2 horsepower generator. All right, so those white hoses that you can see are just washing machine hoses that you can, I think we bought a pair of them for $32. The two filters are a 10 micron and a 1 micron filter. Now I know that a lot of people recommend 5 and 20, but we've taken advice from mechanics in the tropics, and they say that a 1 and 10 is a better solution for tropical waters, especially around the Barrier Reef. The hose that you can see down below now, the blue stripe hose, is connected to a foot valve, which we will place out through hole fitting and just dip it into the ocean when we need to. Otherwise it's going to stay curled up underneath the head, and well, we won't need that much hose. We've just bought 5 meters as an arbitrary length, but we'll most likely only need about 3 of that. Coming back further, from the filters goes into the back of a K2 Karcher. Now I know that might sound a little bit challenging for some people, but it has been proven that they do work, and they are $120 to buy, and you can keep a spare, and they're super light, so you can keep a spare one underneath your hatch. Just a special note on this: the Karcher, you have to source a K to M22 fitting. Now I'll try and come a bit closer on that, but you need that. The Karchers have a K fitting, which is a bayonet style fitting, and you'll need to get that adapter so you can put on what in this case is a blue high pressure hose, which leads to the membrane. So that comes through. Now as you can see, we've mounted our membrane vertically. Now if you do that, you have to mount it in the same manner as what we have with the throughput to the top, so that any air bubbles or whatever rises to the top and can be expelled. So that sits on the wall, and as you would have known from other videos that you've watched, the actual mounting of the system is almost as challenging as building it. Now, if you are, we're using creek water here as our trial. This came from the creek behind our house. If you're using, or you find yourself in an area, a river, where there's fresh water, it's recommended that you don't use the 800 kPa, PSI setting, because there's too many freshwater molecules rushing to the exits, so it can do damage to the membrane. So just wind it down. They're only supposed to make 1.1, 1.2 litres a minute, so if you're making more than that, you're most likely not doing your membrane any favours. We've got a few addeds. There's a flow meter and a TDS monitor which we'll install. The whole system was $2,600, including those last two pieces that I mentioned. Now I'm just going to turn it on briefly. It's going to be noisy. We're planning on stashing all of these parts down in that back, what we're going to make a sort of a soundproof room for the pieces. And when I turn this on, it'll be noisy. But I just wanted to show you, and I'll show you briefly a little gauge that I've hooked up, just to show you how much power the system uses. So I'm going to turn this on. First of all, the low pressure pump, and then the high pressure. I'll winding that up to 800. Out, and it's using about 7.6 amps. All right, well, that's our setup. Hopefully it's pretty simple. Hopefully that'll be of assistance to somebody, especially if you're living in the tropics or designing something for warmer waters. Yeah, so good luck and good sailing. Bye for now.